And join him on the line. It is a welcome to Flow FM from Route 33. We have got Trent McArdle. G'day, Trent. How are you today?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Great to welcome you to the station, and first time we've had a chat, so it's going to be a fun little time. We'll take it easy on all the newbies we do.
Thanks for that.
So tell me, Trent, where did Route 33 come from, the name, and how did it all come about, and how things have been going for you anyway?
Yeah, so we kind of were doing, myself and Jock Barnes, the other half of Route 33, were doing the cover music scene for years around, southeast Queensland, and in 2016, we went across to CMAs and was doing writing with different people. Anyway, we decided to have a crack at the original stuff, as you'll hear with this single, and a lot of them, it's got that American country influence as well, a country pop thing. So we wanted a name that was along the lines that could be used in an American sense. But basically, there's a road, and obviously you guys are down south, there's a road in Brisbane called Coronation Drive, and that's probably the main road out of the city, and Jock and myself live separately, but along that road, and it's on the way out to a place called Ipswich, of all places, was the first place we did a gig.
Okay.
And so that's called Route 33, so to speak. So that's where the name actually came from.
Oh, excellent. And a bit of a history lesson at the same time. Well, great, brilliant.
There you go.
Excellent stuff. Because honestly, when I saw Route 33, my initial reaction was, "Oh, okay, another US, country band," and that. But when I saw enough from Australia, I'm thinking, why did they choose that? So that's great. Thanks for sharing that. It's good to know.
That's right.
Now, you said with the song, the song we're going to hear is called "She Knows What She's Doing," and you said about the Americana feel, but I got a distinct sort of 90s feel, 90s vibe to it. Was that intentional?
Yeah, well, I mean, we try to make it not intentional, to be honest, because, I'm 33, coincidentally, and Jock's 31 years of age, so, we come from that era where the 90s pop rock thing, and a lot of people have mentioned the whole kind of correlation with Sugar Ray with this track.
Yes.
And it's the stuff that I grew up on, and we're very much trying to do the country pop thing, so I try to not make songs sound or resonate with a Goo Goo Dolls or a Matchbox 20 or whatever, but just because that's the music that I've grown up listening to, I suppose you do hear that in it, because obviously that's, for half of our life, that's the stuff we've been playing in our car or at home or whatever it is.
Well, I like the sound of the snare, because that reminded me of some early John Mellencamp, that sort of his 80s sort of Americana country feel. So that was the other thing that I'd got out of it, was just the way that the snare sound. It took me to that, so...
Yeah, I mean, we always want to, even though we're going down that, I suppose, that country pop route, we always want to keep that live sound and feel, because you want to be able to correlate something onto a stage as well. And it's a lot harder when things are, when you're playing with triggers, etc. So you're right, a song can be made or break with the sound of the drum. So it's something we're pretty, anal about when we go into the studio.
Yes, I tend to be a bit that way. I always listen for the drums and how they sound, and I think it drives the song, gives it so much to it, and some overlook it, but I'm glad you love the sound of the drums. It's certainly, in my view, very important to the way the song is, unless it's just an acoustic guitar thing, but that's another story altogether.
Absolutely.
And so you guys, you've been around for a few years, you're writing songs and that, so we've got this new one, so She Knows What She's Doing. It kind of tells me that whoever you're writing it about, we shouldn't mess with them.
Yeah, I mean, well, a lot of what Jock and I write is not necessarily aimed or stories of direct kind of times in our life or people in our life, so to speak. But it's, over the years, I'm sure any male or female can relate to this on either side, so I really could work on either side. The amount of people that will, know that someone's playing them, per se, and still go along with it all. So I suppose the song's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek take at that. In first person, okay, I know that she's playing us, but I don't care because I like what she looks like, or I like her, or whatever it is. So it's kind of a bit of a piss take at that over the years of seeing different mates kind of just lose all bit of common sense when it comes to females, because they fall for them, so to speak.
Guys, and the guys listening, I tell you will relate to this song, because I certainly did, and you've hit every nerve on this song so beautifully, and the fact that it's a catchy little tune as well, I know the girls are going to like it because they'll relate from it from their side. So you're dead right there. So, and I especially love the slide guitar.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it is. We do love the sound, the way it came up. Andrew Cochran produced it in Red Engine Studio, and he does a lot of the bigger Australian country pop artists. And we were super happy, not with only this track, but the rest of the album, how it's kind of come out. He did a cracking job.
Well, that's good to hear. Now, speaking of the album, and we're going to get a taste of what it could be coming with the track in a sec, but what else can we expect on the album, and when is it going to be later in the year or mid-year? What's the time frame?
Yeah, so obviously we're working pretty closely with Perrin Finlay Brown and also Social Family Records with Nadia and that, so obviously they drive a lot of that, but I think the plan is 4 singles with a 11-track album. So we'll release every 3 months, so to speak, and then on the 4th single we'll drop the album with it. So that'll be, November, December this year will be the full album. And intermediately between then there'll be, the singles coming out. So fairly similar theme as you try to with any album.
Yep.
A lot of that fun kind of easy listening type stuff, and hopefully that the listeners enjoy it, and because we've tried to go for a real catchy kind of upbeat kind of feel.
Well, I'm sure they're going to love it based on the first single we're going to hear in a sec. Now, you said 11 tracks on the album. I've spoken to other groups and artists, and they seem to be those that like odd track album and those that like even. So are you guys on the odd track or the even track? Obviously, you're on the odd track for this one.
To be honest with you, it's not actually something we've ever thought of. What we'll do is we'll write a certain amount of songs. We'll take them to the studio. Obviously, you bring them down to, 12 or 13 or 14 or 15 worth recording from writing 30 or 40 or whatever it is. And then that's what we were left with. If there was 10 songs worth putting on an album and we speak to the label about that, we'd put 10. If it was 12, we'd put 12. So just happened that on this one we decided with different themes and stuff that 11 was where it was at. So there's no superstition on our end with that, but absolutely I know there's a lot of artists that it's got to be a certain number or it doesn't work.
Yes, they're funny about that, let me tell you. It can be very interesting. So what's happening with you guys? Are you going to be, if things loosen up a bit, I dare say you want to get out on the road and play these songs live for people? Yeah,
absolutely. We've been announced on, they're all Queensland festivals, but fairly big ones. We've been announced on Savannah in the Rounds in October up in Cairns with John Williamson and Lee and the like, and then rocking far north Queensland, which is a Mackay festival, which is with Troy Casadale and a few of the others. So we're on both of those, which is announced already. Then we've got 2 others that obviously I'm not allowed to say which ones, but 2 of the major Australian ones that we're locked into around November as well. So the good thing about being up here, and I know you guys haven't had it as good down that way, obviously, especially in Victoria, etc. But up here feels very, very normal, especially if you go to North Queensland. So hopefully, touch wood, it can continue like this and we can go ahead and have festivals the way we're putting on football games. The NRL starts next week, AFL's a week after or whatever, and up here they're going to have full capacity. So, festivals can go ahead, and we're just lucky to be in the state that's the most lenient on it.
I think reading between the line there, folks, I think Trent's saying we can stay at his place. So
yes, absolutely. Everyone come up here and we'll go do a festival. Everyone's ready to do it, I think.
Yes, we certainly are. We're all itching for it. Why haven't you done a video, mate? So I'd love to see what you would have done with the video. Why haven't you done one?
To be completely honest, the reason we haven't done a video with this one is simply logistics of getting to the guys who do our filming.
Yep.
So we went back and forth with Social Family to see what we were going to do with it. And we were going to go down to the guys down in Sydney. We used the filmery, and we basically couldn't get there in time. The question was posed: do we wait till July, get it all ducks in a row? And it was decided by the label maybe the first time we release as a single, and then the next 3 will have clips with them. That was kind of a decision we made. Now, obviously, that's not ideal, but COVID hasn't been ideal for anyone.
Correct.
Because we had a very, very an idea of what we want to do with a film clip and make it tongue-in-cheek like the song and have a mate of ours kind of dressed up and him flirting with us while we sing the song type thing. So if we pulled it off, it would have been pretty funny, I think, but we obviously didn't get a chance to do it because of the logistics of it all.
Well, I'm looking forward to the next one that you do. I'm sure it's going to be, based on just what you're saying there, it's going to be fun. So you're saying the album's later in the year. We've got the single out at the moment, and so in at least another, well, a total of 4 singles before the album. Are they all going to be similar to the current song we're going to hear, or are they going to be taking us in little different directions?
I mean, probably more down the defined, what you'd probably call American country pop route. More, very Keith Urban-y, Morgan Evans type sounds. This is probably the left of centre track off the album, to be honest.
Okay.
But then when we played it to the label, you know, Nadia and them said, that's one of your catchier tunes, let's lead with that, and then theme the last ones. And then the fourth song we're planning it to be, and we haven't recorded it yet, I've got to go do it next week in Sydney, but will be an Australian-type anthem. Basically, I've got the concept of, and Jock's got this concept of writing a song with all Australian song titles in it to talk about growing up in Australia. So we've got the lyrics down for that, so we want to go and lay that. I think there's about 70 or 80 Australian rock songs, country songs, pop songs within this song itself to tell a story about growing up in the 90s in Australia, basically.
Wow.
So that'll hopefully be the fourth single. So, and we've got some ideas around how we want that to go. So hopefully that comes up all right when we go record with Matt Fell in Sydney next week. So.
Well, you mentioned some good names of folks that know what they're doing, and Nadia knows what she's doing. So if she said this was your first single, I would be trusting her all the way.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we do. She picks, we send it, and then she does the rest for us.
She knows what she's doing. Well, Trent, it has been great chatting to you. I feel we're going to be having some further conversations throughout the year, so I'm going to leave things so we can continue with that. But we've got your single here, your first single coming from your forthcoming album later in the year. It's a great little track. I know the folks are going to love it. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today on Flow, and if you could please introduce the song for us.
Sounds good. This is Route 33, She Knows What She's Doing.
Yellow sticky note on the refrigerator, lipstick red saying kiss you later. Yeah, she knows what she's doing. And that dress she wears to get away, plays with her hand, man, she don't play. Yeah, she knows what she's doing. When she does what she does, like she do what she do, she's turning me on like she don't have a clue. Thinking that I don't know, but I know she knows what she's doing. Can't you see I ain't blind? No way, I ain't a fool. That girl is on fire while she's keeping it cool. Thinking that I don't know, but I know she knows what she's doing. She's a right foot, left foot, driving fast, and boys blue, just give her a pass. When she flies by, zooming, she thinks she got one on me, but I don't figure her out. I know